So we discussed about data. So my question is something like that. You push the heel during side foot kicking? The answer is no. I don't have such point. And when kicking, and also have never grown injuries. And also, he has a similar kinetic background between the side foot kicking and the instep kicking. So we expected he might switch the technique in much situations, because those kicks have similar mechanics, but much easier to switch in between. So the answer is yes. I do the best choice depending on the situation. So I asked, when you decide next play? He said, it's very interesting for practical. During backswing, he decided. He intentionally larger backswings than the other players. While he's looking, I was watching the situation and have a time during backswing. So yes, this picture is he's explaining his kicking style, to have large backswings. And so smaller backswing is not recommended. So we called him. He's a great beginner for the side foot kicking. This feature of his kicking technique may partially explain his playing style. You know, he is ready to make the best choice always during his dribbling. Just give me 5 seconds. Another view is coming. Is it? Yep. That was amazing, wasn't it? So let's go back to the question. To teach or not to teach? Before I got the data of the high performance play, I leaned to teach. But after that, I a little bit changed my idea and rather to lean to not to teach. Okay, maybe, you know, he has, the coaches, his coaches didn't teach him how to kick, maybe. I don't know the history. But that remains his advantages for playing. So, okay, let's move on to another topic for instep kicking. As you know, the instep kicking is the most widely studied skill, but a little bit difficult to data treatment. Because the instep kick includes ball impact phase. As you can see, the kicking motion has two frequencies. The one is a low frequency during swing phase. The frequency of signal is relatively low, but the foot hits the ball and suddenly decelerated backward. That causes a high frequency component on the signal. So we use a conventional filtering procedure, large deformation, before and after ball impact is coming. Or we try to keep the magnitude of the ball impact using a high higher cut frequency filtering, yeah, we can maintain the peak, but we can't remove the oscillation on the baseline. So our solution was changing the frequency along the time. You know, for the lower part, using lower cutoff frequency, and the higher frequency part, we're using high cutoff frequencies. And smoothly connect of those by like this. So finally, we got the more representative data through ball impact. So this is the chunk angular velocity just through ball impact. This area means, this area shows a ball impact phase lasting for 10 milliseconds. It used to be, we understood the chunk angular velocity before ball impact is like this, slightly decelerating toward ball impact. That wasn't correct. Using a better filtering procedure, we got, finally, we got the true signals, you know. The chunk is never decelerated before ball impact. After the ball impact, finally decelerated. So we got a new kinematic background, so its kinetic background must be reconsidered. So my question is, you know, how would the player achieve an increase of chunk angular velocity during the final phase of kicking? It's a simple theory. It's theoretically add positive moment during that phase, but we have to use muscle forces. But as you know, the muscle force is highly dependent on its velocity conditions. Probably, the player swings the leg, the chunk would be exposed to high angular velocity condition. It may be very difficult to exert positive moment in the phase. So we computed the joint moment. Also, interactive moment. Interactive moment is caused by the motion of the other joint. So we got highly skilled club players. And yeah, I'd rather to skip this because of time. So let's look at the kinetic changes. This is a chunk angular velocity toward ball impact. As you can see, the angular velocity of the chunk was still increasing during the final phase. This is the change of the muscle moment. The muscle moment was rapidly decreased during the final phase of kicking, and finally to come to the negative moment exerted just before ball impact. In contrast, we got the positive interaction moment during that phase. This is mainly dominate the increase of chunk angular velocity during the final phase of kicking. It's quite a reasonable way because the muscles about the knee joint has been exposed to the very high angular velocity condition, so they can no longer exert the positive moment. So the findings for the instant kicking, the muscle moment no longer dominates the ascending shank action just before ball impact. It can be speculated that the muscle system became incapable to generating any concentric force during the phase. In contrast to inhibition of the muscle moment, the interaction moment began to generate large positive moment and thereby serve to increase the shank angular velocity just before ball impact. So this is a picture of the beginning of the final phase of kicking. The shank is most horizontally positioned like this. And if the most effective way to this shank to counterclockwise rotation is, is to the vertical force at the proximal end. So the players using this strategy towards the finish, the players try to up their body vertically using the support leg, using the pivot leg. And also the pivot leg is very slow, so the pivot leg has no handicap for the muscle contracting velocity. That is a very reasonable way. So the many players try to finish upwards. So, thank you very much for your attention. This is my favorite picture, as if I am coaching him. Actually cannot. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thanks, Hiro. Time for one or two questions. Gentleman in the middle there.
Thanks for that. I think I was really interested with the differences between your high-performance athlete and the intermediate level player. And it's very typical of things I've done within rugby, where you will find intermediate level players are often coached towards a textbook model.
Yeah.
Whereas the high-performance work out actually how to play.
Yeah.
And they adapt the model so that it becomes less complicated, and it's where it's interesting, where biomechanics, I think, can do a great job in rewriting a lot of textbooks, because very few high-performance athletes move like that.
Yeah, thank you.
But leading on from that though, Hiro, what does that tell us about practice then, and the way that we need to structure practice to develop effective skills?
I'm not sure how they practice, but in the coach, particularly in Japanese coach, they are very keen to teach kids to his kicking form, mainly. Yeah, that is a question for me, Yeah, maybe you will follow how to practice that after that. Okay.
So might just touch on that.
Yeah.
Any other questions? One final question, maybe? No? Okay. Well, thanks very much, Hiro, for an excellent talk again.
Thank you.